The Face of Cancer strives to inspire hope in women battling aggressive cancer or metastatic cancer by really reuniting them with their sense of femininity and beauty and helping them tell their story. Ironically, one of the key critical elements to battling cancer is, as they say, to be joyful and optimistic and hope and to laugh. And that's one of the first things that is taken away from a woman who's told that she has aggressive cancer and or terminal cancer. So the Face of Cancer's goal is to really manufacture hope and help her find a reason to get up out of bed, find the will to fight and to live. One of the ways that the Face of Cancer manufactures hope is by telling her story and allowing her to see her life through another lens, through someone else's eyes. And in that process, she begins to see that there are so many beautiful moments and so many wonderful things to hold on to, as opposed to the negative things that so many of us dwell on when we think about our mortality. The other way we help breathe life into her is through the fantasy photo shoot. She is tasked with picking out any theme she wants, and then it's our job to bring that theme into fruition through the photo shoot. What that does is it gives her a reason to get up out of bed and to literally go and start searching for images of what her perfect fantasy look would be. And in that space and time, she completely forgets about cancer. Although these seemingly simple actions appear insignificant, they actually create a mental shift which is paramount to joyful living. This month's Face of Cancer is Brent Flowers. Brent is the quintessential person for this project. She is young. She has 2 young children, beautiful family, husband, was a hard worker, gives back to her community, and fought this disease valiantly. It came back on her 5th year anniversary. And I just know that everybody is going to fall in love with her when they see her story. I couldn't be more blessed or thrilled to have worked with Brent Flowers on this month's Face of Cancer. Here's her story.
My name is Brent Flowers. I am 48 years old, and I've been married for 18 years, and I have 2 children, Milan and Cameron. In April of 2002, we went on a family trip to Disneyland and came home and took the next day off because it was just exhausting going to Disneyland with 2 kids. And I heard on the news as I was getting in the shower that it was Buddy Check Day, and I'd signed up for Buddy Check years ago. And so I got in the shower, I was doing my self-exam that I do once a month with the Buddy Check system, and found a lump. And before I got out of the shower, I got really, really sick. And I thought, I knew when I found that lump, I just had this really strong feeling that I knew. And my husband was outside in the garage and he was cleaning out the car, and I said, come here for a second, feel this. And he's like, that doesn't feel good. He's like, but call your girlfriend, who is our family doctor. She said, come in, let me see what is going on. But remember, 80% of these things are nothing, and don't stress and don't have an accident, but come on over. So I went over there and she sent me right over to the imaging facility, and went in there, and they did an exam and looked at it, and they did an ultrasound. And the young lady that was doing the exams, she knew my husband, and during the exam she started crying. And I thought, oh, this can't be good. So I called Ron and told him, and he's like, remember, it could be anything, and don't go there yet. But they asked me to come back the next morning, like first thing in the morning. And so we went in, and they wanted to do a biopsy, which is basically kind of a mini surgery. And so the gentleman, the radiologist that was going to do it, said, before we get started, do you have any questions? I'm like, yeah, is there any chance this is anything but cancer? And with a real deadpan look on his face, he's just, no, it's cancer. We're just trying to figure out how bad it is. And he says, do you need a minute? And I said, yeah. And he left the room, and I just totally lost it. And Ron's just really supportive, and he's like, let's just get this over with. Let's just get this over with. And so we did the biopsy and waited for results, but there was really no point in waiting for results. We knew what was at this point we all knew, Ron and I both understood and knew what was going on. We hadn't said anything to the family because there's just no reason in getting everybody all worked up until we decide we really know what's going on. And so Friday afternoon, my doctor calls me and she's crying before she even picks up because she's a friend of mine. And she says, are you driving? I'm like, everybody's intro is just like telling you what you already know. I said, I already know. I know what they had to say. And she's like, you have to go into the doctor on Monday morning to the oncologist. And she says, the best oncologist in town, I've already booked you an appointment for Monday morning. And so I got in first thing Monday morning and went through the treatment. My first round go around with cancer, I had a mastectomy and then had chemo, then radiation, and then reconstruction. So after all those treatments, we started with being checked, going back to the doctor every 6 weeks, then every 2 months. And we got closer and closer to the 5-year anniversary. And with the type of cancer I have, 5 years is a really good place to get to, because if you get to 5 years without it returning, you're pretty much home free. And so we were all very excited that we had gotten to 5 years. And we get to 5 years, and that very day, he told me it was back. And so we started the process all over, but this time it's different. When it comes back, it's stage 4. There's nowhere else to go. So we've been doing chemo for the last 2 years, trying to extend my life as long as possible. A chemo works for a few months and then it just stops working and the cancer comes raging back. It's almost like we kind of slow it down and then it gets legs and it goes crazy. This is the longest I've gone on a medication right now that I'm on right now. This is the longest I've gone with it working, without it stopped working. So we're pretty hopeful that maybe this is the drug that will sustain me for a longer period of time. I am hopelessly addicted to wedding shows. Anybody who knows me knows that there's not a wedding that I don't like. And she goes, well, then let's go to a bridal store and you can pick a dress to wear. And so we did. And we went out to, it was the first time I'd actually really met Holly, was at the bridal store. And we tried on dresses, and every dress I wanted to try on, I got to try on. And the ladies out there at Madeline's Bridal Boutique were amazing. And we had so much fun. I think we spent 4 hours trying on dresses and just having a great time until I found the dress I wanted to wear. And so about a week later, I had chemo, and that chemo just was the worst I think I'd ever had. And I got really scared that by the time the photo shoot came up, that I wasn't going to be ready, because I couldn't even lift my head from this new drug. I couldn't do anything. But we went ahead and scheduled it for the photo shoot day, and that day came and I felt like $1 million the whole day. And it was a really intense day. We started out at noon and a limo picked us up, my daughter and we went to Michael Blunt's salon, and they did my makeup and they did my hair. Michael Blunt has a runway in the middle of his salon, and so I got to walk the runway and have all the photos taken in this beautiful dress that I had chosen over at Madeline's. and play with my daughter, who thought this was the best thing ever. I mean, a 15-year-old girl, this is a fantasy for her too. And my whole family was there, and it was so much fun. We just took over the whole place, and walking the runway and wearing the dress and feeling like just a girl, and not a girl who's sick, and not a girl who's has stage 4 cancer. They all just treated me like it was just a day. It could have been my wedding day. If you were just looking on the outside looking in, it could have been just my wedding day. The Face of Cancer project, I think, gave me motivation. Had it not been for that, the last few months would have just been me here or at a doctor's appointment, because I don't really have a lot of energy and to do much else. But it gave me something else to focus on. And it also kept reminding me that this is something that my kids and my husband will have forever. And I really want them to have this. It's important that they remember me. And what woman doesn't want to be remembered by her husband and children as beautiful as they made me look that day? And so it was an incredible experience that I feel like is always going to be with me. People comment that it's inspirational to everything that I've done. I don't see it as inspirational. I see it as something I can do for my family. And no one wants to be forgotten. Most women want to feel beautiful to someone in their life. And there is nothing that makes you feel worse about how you look than cancer. It just goes through and takes everything female about you and tosses it out the window. And the face of cancer brings it all right back. And I look at the day of that photo shoot and I think most people wouldn't even have known how sick I was. And still am. And I felt beautiful, not just that day, but that has given me the courage to face the world with feeling and not looking my best, and knowing that there's still beauty inside and out, whether you're bald or you are falling apart or your arm is swollen beyond belief, or any of the things that I have faced that I felt at some point made me unattractive and hard to look at, I even said. It's made me stop saying that completely. And because I know that's superficial things. And I hope my parents saw me in a different light that day. I know they're really proud that I've managed this the way I have. I hope my daughter had fun with her mom. And 15-year-old girls historically aren't exactly ones to have fun with their mom. But we did. And we created memories for a lifetime during this project. It's not just the premiere of the film. It's not just the day of the photo shoot. It's every day since then. We have memories to last a lifetime from me being part of the Face of Cancer. Who I am today and who I was before all this happened, I'm not even sure I recognize her. Except that she was the one that chose to marry my husband, and she was the woman who chose to have children with him. And so she was pretty smart along the way. She made some really great choices, but I'd much rather recognize her, because that person is just, she's changed, but changed for the better. I hope hope the people that watch this realize that there is no challenge that they can't face. Cancer isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to me. There has been some things that have happened that are much worse than this. But it's taught me a lot, so in a weird way, it's been a gift. It's given me years with my children that I've been more present and more attentive to my parents, and I've been a better wife and mother and sister and daughter and friend since all this happened. So it's been a gift. The packaging sucks. I've said cancer's a gift, it's just the packaging sucks. Because you do learn so much about yourself and the people around you. There's good days and bad days, and then there's some really bad ones. But find what it is that makes you happy and seize the opportunity every time to turn back to it. And if you don't know what makes you happy, this is the time to find it and hold on to it and go to it every time you need it. Sticking my toes in the sand has given me comfort. The face of cancer has given me comfort. My family. I have all sorts of wonderful things to turn to, and I turn to them every day. And on some days I turn to them more than once, but I know what they are. And this challenge in my life, I've learned what makes me happy, and I take advantage of it every chance I get.